There are some 20 heads of states and governments present here at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, as well as 70 ministers. Among them is the Serbian Foreign Minister, Marko Djuric. I sat down with him and discussed a wide variety of topics, including his country's EU bid, his country's relations with Kosovo, as well as the Russian-Ukrainian war and Israel's war on Gaza. Sir, I want to begin by thanking you so much for joining me here at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum. Could we start there? I would like to know about your experience and what sort of impacts a forum like this might have for diplomacy.
As a foreign minister, as you can imagine, I attend many forums, many events, many gatherings. But I really believe that this forum this year has set a new standard, both in the number of attendees, but also in the messages that were sent. I listened very carefully yesterday to the speech of the president of Turkey and what he said about the need to restore diplomacy, to restore conversation as a means to peacefully work towards resolving a growing number of international crises that we are facing at the end of the first quarter of the 21st century. And indeed, this forum is a clear investment which we support in this direction.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump right into some of those global conflicts. We know right now that we are at a really critical stage when it comes to the Russian-Ukrainian war. The U.S. is engaging directly with Russia for the first time in years. What do you see as what do you make of what's happening right now? Is it smoke and mirrors? Is it momentum but no action? Or do you think we are actually nearing the end of this conflict?
I come from a region in which memories of a similar conflict from the 1990s are still fresh. And it's really painful to see that the suffering is continuing now for a fourth year in a row, in its most horrific and acute way. Serbia is in favor of a diplomatic solution for this conflict. A solution, of course, that would be based on the principles of international public law. And in that sense, we are supportive of any effort to foster talks. Furthermore, we have even offered to host any type of exchange between the parties on this issue. This was a message by President Vučić earlier this year. We consider ourselves friends of both and would love to see an end to the fighting as soon as possible. We believe that this is in our vital national interest, because as long as this fighting is going on, it's not just that broader principles of humanity are being undermined, but our vital economic and security interests are being undermined, because in the Balkans we are just a couple of hundreds of miles from the front line.
So the security that is at risk there is the same as Serbian security, you're saying?
Absolutely. The security of Europe and Eurasia is Serbian security as well. And of course, what happens in the east of Europe resonates very much in the Balkans and contributes to both the increase of tension and it also undermines the economic outlook for the broader region.
Sir, I hate to jump from one global conflict to another, but unfortunately I do understand that among the hostages being held in Gaza, there is a Serbian national. So I'm interested to know what the efforts of the Serbian government have been to get him released, and also more broadly, how do the Serbian people look at this conflict, and what do they see as the best way towards peace?
Alon Oil was kidnapped on October the 7th, 2023. He's still being held in Gaza by Hamas, and I want to use this opportunity to appeal for his immediate release. He is a Serbian and Israeli citizen. His grandfather was from Novi Sad in the north of Serbia. He is a civilian, was not taking part in any hostilities. He's a pianist, so he got caught in basically a tragic series of events, and he also is a relative of mine, happens to be. We want to see a cessation of suffering, hostilities. Serbia also having gone through, and the region in the Balkans having gone through a lot of suffering, has known what it means to endure the horrific suffering that the people there in the region, in the Middle East, went through. Serbia has sent humanitarian aid through Egypt for the people of Gaza. I hope that this fighting will come to an end soon. Also, that there will be a return to the success of diplomacy, because there are a lot of talks going on, but now we need results.
And is that how the people of Serbia look at the issue as well? They just want to...
The people of Serbia want to see a peaceful solution, and we should also bear in mind that Serbia is taking part in UNIFIL mission in Lebanon. We have 200 troops on the Litani River. So although we are not a big country, but we are trying to contribute to regional stability.
It just so happens that I covered the entire war from Lebanon. We've seen a lot of attacks on UNIFIL. Does that concern you?
Well, as I said, with 200 troops over there, we were always concerned for the well-being of all of the peacekeepers there, and all those who may be concerned should take care to make sure that the people who are supposed to bring peace do not come into harm's way.
And can I ask you, how does Serbia plan to move forward in its talks with Kosovo, given that improving relations is an important step towards joining the European Union?
Well, firstly, I want to say that for Serbia, maintaining stability and peace in our region is key prerequisite for our continued growth, both as we strive to take our rightful place at the table in Brussels, where I believe we need to have a say in forming Europe's foreign and security policy, and we can also contribute a lot because Serbia, with a growth rate of over 4% annually, and with the fact that it has more than doubled the size of its GDP in less than a decade, can actually help foster European growth. We are not coming to Brussels just to beg or to ask. But we also believe we can play a stabilizing role in the Balkans region. And as a foreign minister in the coming months, I will take additional efforts to talk with all the parties in our region. Speaking about Kosovo, this is and Metohija, as we say, Kosovo and Metohija. This is for us a very complex and sensitive issue, because for Serbs this is not just about 13% of the territory. It answers one of the most fundamental questions for every nation. This is the question who we are. The seat of the Serbian church, which has existed for 800 years, is in the monastery of Peć, which is in Kosovo today. It's a UNESCO Serbian World Heritage Monastery, and the patriarch of the Serbian church is not being able to visit this monastery. So there are a lot of emotions related to this, but we are engaging constructively in the EU-facilitated dialogue on this issue with the aim to create a secure, stable, and prosperous environment. And we would like to see the implementation of the Brussels Agreement and all the other agreements which could contribute to lowering the tension and increasing the understanding. I see that the authorities in Pristina have been taking some unilateral steps on the ground to move the situation to their advantage. Unfortunately, this has led to the decrease of collective political and cultural and other rights of the Serbian community, so we are concerned because of that.
Sir, you spoke of that being a sensitive issue. Another one that we have is, in light of the recent reports concerning the impact of U.S. sanctions on the NIS pending and its operations, how is the Serbian government approaching the issue to safeguard its national energy security, one of the biggest topics being spoken about here at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum?
Serbia has generally really a good story to tell when it comes to its economy. And in recent months, we've done a lot to increase our energy security. In September of last year, I signed in Washington an agreement on strategic partnership in energy sphere with the United States. We have very good relations in energy sphere with Azerbaijan, with other countries, traditionally with Russia as well, who is the owner of NIS. So we are talking with all the actors to make sure that energy security is maintained and then that these sanctions do not affect the people whom, at least according to those who introduced the sanctions, are not meant to affect. We will be talking to the new US administration about this. We will be talking to the Russian side, and I'm confident, very confident, that we can maintain, together with a lot of our partners, including Azerbaijan, including Turkey, including other countries in the region, to maintain energy security.
May I ask you, do you think that this current administration will be easier to work with in the US?
Donald Trump is by far the most popular foreign politician, a Western politician in our country. In fact, according to opinion polls, in Europe, the highest support rate for Donald Trump was actually in Serbia. This was not by coincidence, and this is not ideologically driven, because also liberals and leftists, and equally those who are on the right-wing side, are more favorable towards Donald Trump, because they hope that he will bring a new, different type of positive relationship with Serbia, given the fact that for example, during the Clinton administration in 1990s, we had a very difficult relationship. 3 decades on, I would say that the US-Serbian relations are in a far better place. I think that we are working towards a strategic partnership. In fact, we agreed early this year to launch a strategic dialogue between Serbia and the United States, and I believe that relying on the new US administration to forge a much closer relationship will bring good results.
I wish you all the success in that relationship, and I just want to thank you so much for joining us, Your Excellency. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.